In this video, I'm going to show you 2 ways that I successfully sow carrot seeds. The first one is in a container or in the ground, so do follow that. And the second one is going to be in a 15-gallon grow bag using this guy here. It's waiting over there, so it won't be long, and I'll show you how I go about this. Oh, and I'm also going to talk to you about little things like mulching and how to stop your carrots from going green on the top. Oh, and g'day everybody. My name's Daz, and this is my Aussie Gardening Kitchen, Garden Edition. So first of all, we'll look at the most simplest way of sowing carrots into a garden bed, into a ground like this. Okay, so first of all, we've got a garden bed. Now, this is a raised garden bed, but you can do this in the ground as well. It's the same method for either way. First of all, is you make sure that your surface is level in your garden bed, like so. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's good to get a nice flat surface if you can. It just makes life a lot easier. I'm not actually going to sow seeds into this, but I'm going to pretend for your benefit. So what I would do next is I would get some water and I would water down this and make all of this soil wet. You get this nice and wet, and that's going to help with the germination of the seeds in the soil. I also like to sieve my soil to get out lumps and bits of wood and obstructions like that, to stop the carrots from hitting it and going into funny shapes. And then what I'll do is I'll get a stick, a relatively straight stick, and I'll make my first row like this. And then with my finger or a bamboo skewer, I'll just come along, push the stick down, and just do a trench like this. There we go. And then, as you can see, I've now got my trench here. Not too deep. I wouldn't go any more than 1/2 centimetre to 1 centimetre in depth. You get the carrot seeds, pour the carrot seeds into your hand. Now they're really, really tiny. You're going to go along, and if you can, just drop one at intervals like so. As far as spacing goes, I look at about a 3-finger spacing, and then that way you've got your spacing between each carrot, and each carrot can grow into that space a little bit. Now, more than likely, you're going to drop 2 or 3 at a time, and that's fine. What you're going to do is come along later as they start to grow, and you can pick out the ones or snip off the tops of the ones you don't want. Once those seeds are all in the trench like this, it's just a matter of backfilling, just like that. Just going back over the top. There you go. And that is your first row done. Then you come along, and then you put your piece of wood down, and you put it at the spacing that you need for your carrots. Again, a 3-finger spacing. So you've got 1, 2, 3 fingers. 4th finger there is the trench. So what I do is I put my straight piece of wood, just like that. And then what I'll do is I draw on this side here. So go like that. And the reason that I'm digging on this side of the stick, not this side, is that I don't want to disturb the carrots that have been sown into this side here. So again, you would come along and you would drop 1 every 3-finger spacing. And then again, you would just cover that trench up like so, making sure all those seeds are covered. And you just continue that along in your garden bed for as many rows as you want, as long as you want. Once you've got these carrots in all these rows, what you do next is you get a very fine misting spray, and you spray water over the top of this and moisten this soil, because you need that moisture in the soil to help germinate those carrot seeds. So you've already got the soil underneath that's wet, and we just need this topsoil now to get damp as well to help with that germination. You do not want the water spraying too heavy, because you don't want to wash those seeds out of the soil and have them go all over the place. So I get a bit of curtain material, just like this. It's very light. It's going to let light through and air and moisture, and that's done, that's covered. Or what you can do at home is, if you don't have something like this, get a piece of cardboard and cut it to shape, or a couple of pieces of cardboard if you have to, even some layers of newspaper. Just be careful not to actually damage any of the surface and disturb those seeds. So now that I've got my curtain material down, it's going to let in the moisture, it'll let in a bit of light, and of course, when those beautiful green shoots start coming up out of the ground, it's going to protect them from all those critters out there that are looking at them and saying, oh, that looks like dinner to me. I sow my carrots twice a year once in autumn and once in spring. Then that gives me 2 times of the year when they're mature, and I can come out and pick them at leisure and use them as I need. I've got a different system here to a lot of people, where I've got a growing area near my back door in my entertaining area, and that's for a lot of quick to grab items like herbs and berries and lettuce and salad items, where if we're cooking, we can just quickly come out and grab what we need and then go back inside. And then I've got other dedicated garden beds in the yard, and they're for my bulk growing. So carrots, for instance, I'll have some growing in the grow bag where I'm going to show you in a moment. When they're ready, I can just come out and grab 1 or 2 as I need when cooking. Then I'll have other ones in another section of the yard. They'll be my bulk growing area, and that's where I'll grow a lot more carrots and preserve them, either dehydrating or blanching and freezing. And that system works well for me. I know where I am where it comes to food levels, what I've got at hand and what I've got coming up. And yeah, it works well here if I remember to do it properly. All right, now it's time to see how I sow my seeds in my grow bag with my homemade template. So first thing I do is I get my sieve here, my homemade sieve, and I'll get my soil, give it a good sieve, and then that way I'm getting all these distractions out for the carrots, all these rocks and bits of wood. The carrots don't like these, and when the carrot's trying to go down and grow, it's going to hit a rock and turn, and it's going to bend or split. So that's why I like to get rid of all these things and then have a nice loose soil like this for my carrots. Now when it comes to soil, it's a combination of dirt from my yard, compost that I make here myself, and that's broken down beautifully, and this is going to be great for the carrots. I don't have a watering can here, unfortunately, but I like the top layer of the soil to be moist before I put the seeds, ready for the seeds to go in, and then that way I'm not pouring water over the top of it and possibly washing the seeds out of the holes that they go into. I will put a little bit of water on top eventually when I'm doing this, but it's going to be very light. So I'm just getting this moisture in here now, and that should be absolutely heaps because we've got seeds, little tiny seeds here, and they're so small, they don't need a lot of depth at the moment as far as moisture goes. I'm just leveling out the surface here, not trying to be too pedantic. That looks nice, that'll do. This is my template that I made, and this is for a 15-gallon grow bag. And as you can see, I've got other templates here for different size grow bags, 5-gallon, 10-gallon, and that's actually a cardboard template there to make these. Now, this is not my design. I actually got this from a YouTube channel years ago. I cannot remember it right now, but I will try and find it and put it in the description down below so you can benefit from the original person's hard work and give them some credit when you find them. Okay, so I'm going to use a pencil to poke in these holes, like so. That's just to make a little hole for the seed. And I'm looking at probably 1 centimetre deep when I do these holes. Now, the reason I use these holes in this template is because, as you can see, you can imagine a carrot growing here. It's got this space around it to grow. They're not going to be really huge, wide carrots. So each one of these will have just enough space to grow around or next to the other one beside it on either side. Now, the seeds are absolutely tiny. So I'm just going to grab a couple and drop a couple in each hole. You might not be able to see that until I get a little bit closer. Now, don't worry if you have 2 or 3 pop up in the same hole and start growing. I'll pick them out and thin them out to just 1. And then what I'll do is those ones that I've picked out, I'll actually plant those in another grow bag and start growing carrots with those rather than throwing them and wasting them. Or if some don't germinate in these holes, the ones that I take out, I'll pop into these spots that are missing. So I've got soil here that I've sifted through the sieve. You can see how fine that is. And that's going to go into these holes, like so. There's probably going to be a random seed sitting on the top here somewhere. I'll just brush that into this dirt, and we might get a random one around the edge or in between. And that's fine. Again, we'll just thin those out later on. So I just give that a tap and make gravity do its thing and make the dirt fall in. Okay, so that should have done a basic job of covering the seeds. So I'll carefully lift this up and just give that a shake over the top, like so. And then I'm just going to give a final shake of soil over the top, not too much. Now I'm just going to take my template and put my template over the top like this. It's not touching the surface, but what this is going to do now is protect those little baby seeds and the little sprouts as they come up. There's little dots of sunlight here that will penetrate through these holes. And then once I've got a whole bunch of nice little green shoots coming up, I'll remove this. I'll thin out all the carrots that I need to so they've all got even spacings, fill in any gaps that I need. If I've got leftover shoots, I'll pop those into another grow bag, similar spacing, and then hopefully all I've got to do now is keep the water up to them, give them a little bit of a feed later on, and then eventually I'm going to have some nice crunchy carrots that are hopefully straight. But you know what? If they're a funny shape, it doesn't matter because I'm after size and taste. Once I remove this template, those delicious green shoots are going to look fantastic to the local birds. So I'm just going to put some bird netting over the top, and that will keep them safe until they're growing. Once they're up to a decent height, I'll remove that and let them be on their way. Now tomorrow, I'll remove this template and I'll give the surface of the soil a very fine misting spray, a very fine spray, just to help with the germination. Put this back on top and leave it and check it in a few days and see if it needs another fine misting spray. When you grow carrots, you are going to have some that will pop up from the soil a little bit, and those shoulders will go green in the sun. Mulch around them, that's going to help block the sunlight as well as retain the moisture and keep out weeds, and that'll break down and be organic content for your garden bed in the future. There are so many varieties of carrots out there, it's ridiculous. You can get short ones, you can get long ones, you can get coloured ones. There's just so many carrot varieties out there for you to choose from. So have fun with them and find ones that you like and enjoy growing. And not only are you getting something nice and tasty, but you're having fun as well in your growing process. Now, YouTube thinks that you're going to like this video here. I would really appreciate it if you check that out. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of it. And of course, thank you so much for being here. And hopefully I'll see you in the next cooking or gardening video. Bye for now.